welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
A lot is at stake here and a lot to discuss and break it down. But to get started, a former governorship candidate for Plateau State, and then a sitting minister as well for the Humanitarian Affairs, and now national chairman. But there's a lot at the fore when we look at the APC and the changing tides for the opposition. So the big question is, why Dr. Yilwatda?
I think the question is, why not Dr. Yilwatda? Professor Yilwatda is someone who is very calm and humble, very erudite, yet unassuming. He's also a very serious pragmatist who believes in, fashioning solutions to problems. He's, a technical person, which is, he's an electrical engineer, but, more importantly, he's, I think, recognized the need to marshal really effective solutions to, existing problems, even perennial problems, in his own professional, line. He's someone who is, I think, used the digital technology to transform, the way things are done. So I'm saying that just to give you an idea of the kind of person that he is. He's someone who comes to a problem and who concerns himself with, figuring out how to solve them, irrespective of, what, failures or successes were recorded prior.
Right.
So we are very excited, at his emergence as our national chairman, at this time especially in the history of our country. If you notice, he's unlike, any other chairman who has come along. He's new, he's a breath of fresh air. He doesn't have all of those other trappings. He wasn't a former governor, even though he attempted to be governor in Plateau State in the last election. But he was not a former governor. So he brings this, fresh energy that hopefully everyone in the party, both young and old, can relate to, can, go with to support him to succeed. I think that's what he was. Some of his comments he was making when he accepted.
It's very interesting that you said hopefully he'll be able to hold both old and new people inside of the party, because the discontent inside of the party is actually showing, much like it is inside of the LP or PDP. So the question is whether Dr. Yilwatda has the capacity to be able to hold all these different groups together at this very critical time. 2 years away from 2027, it's absolutely important that the APC consolidates its strength and be able to run run against any opposition, whether the PDP or the ADC. Can he do it? Is there a pedigree that shows that he is capable?
Look, Nentawe is, well, now that he's national chairman, maybe people will pay more attention to figure out, who this man really is. He's someone who comes with, quite a diverse, toolkit to this job. So yes, the answer is yes, that Professor Nentawe is more than capable of bringing the party together. And by the way, we don't have a lot of the, tensions that you suggest. Yes. I know you're going to refer to some who left.
Okay.
Look, a political party is a voluntary institution. Nobody was born to be a member of a party. People decide for themselves to subscribe to the tenets and the values and the, ideals and the principles of a party. So they come voluntarily and they leave voluntarily. So when people leave, that is really, which is why if you notice, we don't speak too much of those. Yes, we celebrate those who join us, but we don't diss those
that's the point, sir. That's the
who
point,
are left behind.
It's a very critical moment, because the APC has opened its doors to almost everybody and still welcomes everybody else. These people are coming with their ideals from their parties, their grievances as well. It's still very confusing when you see members from outside of the party as very frontline seaters at the table when it comes to the APC. So there's a lot going on in the APC that needs sitting together.
I don't think I get the distinction you're drawing.
Okay.
Now, for one, all of these people you talk about, whether they were original members of APC or whether they have joined, they are Nigerians. And they're individuals who are political. So what is the distinction? I mean, say, look, I know that we often speak about ideological, clarity, but maybe we're not there yet as, a people, as, a democracy has yet to attain that level of ideological, specificity. Maybe not. But in terms of those, the individuals who come and go, they are Nigerians. So when they leave one party to come, we don't see them. We on the APC side don't see them as strangers who are joining us. We see them as Nigerians who are seeking a better, more effective platform to engage and to play their politics and to serve the country. That's the way we see it. So we don't see it from that divisive prism that you are suggesting. And in any event, I think the point you're making overall is that the party is growing. I think that's what I take away from the question, which is that the party is growing. And the question I think you're probably asking is, how do we plan to manage
that
this
growth? Because with different people comes different expectations.
We can have that conversation, but it's not about the difference. Now that we're settled, yes, it is difficult to manage any body of people. Even nuclear families sometimes are difficult to manage. But I think that's where APC has demonstrated its capacity and its resolve to grow by what you witnessed at our NEC meeting. This is not the first transition we're having. We've had transitions, of our national chairman who have, resigned, and we had to make replacements. But we did it seamlessly. You didn't have, all of the things which some of our, the opposition parties have modeled of this intractable controversies around anything, whether it's the PDP's national secretary that is still unsettled till today, or Labour Party that has clearly no system
split in the middle
of leadership. We have transited seamlessly, like we did. Our national chairman resigned. We called for a NEC meeting within 3 weeks, and we delivered a new national chairman. So we're not perfect. Nobody's suggesting that. We have our own issues. But my point to Nigerians is that we are trying to grapple with those challenges and to overcome them and to set the standard for others to follow.
I have to ask you, in the last 2 years, 4 years,
yes,
there have been 4 chairmen of the party thereabout, or forgive me if I'm wrong, but what we understand is that there have been chairmen that have, until this final, which we now have Yilwatda here now, and as Mazino rightfully put, the APC is growing and is bursting at the seams with new territories being added to the party. But more importantly is critics who have pointed out that, one of them is ADC, where they have pointed out that Yilwatda is handpicked by the president. Critics have argued that it's been handpicked by President Tinubu, or better yet, is a favor of President Tinubu. What would you say to that? And also, very recently, the ADC have put out a statement saying that they are happy. They congratulate the new chairman, but also they sort of lean towards saying that they hope that they will be fair. The party will be fair going into 2027 and not meddle with the electoral body.
Now, every institution undergoes, leadership transition. I think succession, how you manage succession is really the issue. It's not about, people who come and who decide to leave. But I think that's the point I made earlier, that we're doing our best to manage that leadership succession,
right,
very carefully and successfully. Now, regarding what this means for the party, we're very clear that 2027 is still some miles away. The president today is concerned with decision making, we're concerned with governing this country, and that's what he's doing. But at the same time, we're in a partisan democracy where party politics must go on simultaneously with governance. So the ADC, the opposition parties have their own issues to worry about, and usually we say to them, listen, focus a little bit more on building your own internal democratic systems so that you can offer Nigerians your own thinking. Your thinking cannot be your screams and shouts about the APC. You cannot hope to win the election in 2027 or beyond by simply telling Nigerians what you think the APC is doing or is not doing. You should be able to, as a political party, to design and present to Nigerians your alternative thinking, whether it's in the area of policy or in the area of programming. Provide that to Nigerians. Let them make their own choice about between what you're offering and what the APC has offered or is offering. But this idea that, because you're in the position, you take the liberty to lampoon the party and the government and think that that is sufficient to endear yourselves.
But isn't that what opposition? Isn't that what opposition is? Isn't it? Where you can voice your dissent and just say it as is, or better yet, say what you think it is. For the case of the appointment or the vote of this recent chairman, which have now emerged from the NEC meeting, the opposition have said that he seemed to have been the favorite of the president the entire time.
I was coming to that. That's not, our decisions about who becomes national chairman is a result of protracted conversations and negotiations in the party. Yes, 3 weeks of non-stop, 3 weeks of night and day conversations. You have no idea the level of energy and the time that is devoted to matters like this across the board. Those are not things that are, of course, visible to the media or to people at home. But make no mistake, this chairman, like his predecessors, emerged out of a process of rigorous discussion and negotiation. Now, don't forget that there was an outstanding, agitation by the North Central.
Yes.
Of,
about zoning.
About zoning. So this chairman meets and checks all of those boxes. So in one fell swoop, we have solved, that pending problem, that agitation by our people in North Central, but also, brought some freshness to that office. The APC recognizes that Nigerians, that we're diverse people, whether by age or by sexual diversity, ethnic, religious diversity. This country is a complex system, yet a united entity. And I think this chairman who has come along is a younger person, like you said, doesn't carry all of the trappings that people expect of, which is why somebody in the opposition might suggest, this was handpicked. But no, but this, the criteria was set. And he fit the bill as agreed to by all of those who should be at the table and who should participate in the making of this decision. So it was a consensus decision. So it is wrong and mischievous for the ADC or anyone to suggest that this is the president's pick, that he was handpicked. That he was a minister, it didn't exclude him from consideration anyways.
Well, he's got big shoes to fill up, right? Whether I like it or not, Ganduje has done well. I would say very well, if I were to score him in his part as a chairmanship. He's done as well during the by-elections or when it comes to the off-cycle elections with the governorship elections. We've seen the wins that have happened and also the mass defections that have also happened under his chairmanship. With those shoes that he's going to fill up, what is the expectations from him heading into 2027?
Well, I think, as Prof himself said, our new chairman said, he is fully aware of the challenges of the moment and the responsibilities, of the day. He's also very aware of, the call of the future, which is, in the immediate future, the 2027 election. And there's no one better qualified to do this, because this young man understands, he knows, he's been around the party, even though his history of partisan politics is not as deep as his immediate predecessor, but Prof is an academic, he's a reader, he's a thinker, and he's a pragmatist, as I said. So I think that 2027, Nigerians really need to watch out for this man and how he will guide the party. And don't forget, the party, has an array of, highly experienced, some of the most experienced politicians. We have the president, for example, who is incontrovertibly one of Nigeria's, greatest, politicians. And we have, others who are there to support him, to lend their wisdom, their thinking to him to work. So he's not alone. We are there as well. Don't forget that as chairman, he's the leader of the National Working Committee of the party that is also populated with very competent and experienced, political thinkers and doers. So, he's not alone. So he has, high quality advisory available to him at the snap of the finger. And he's someone who is, because of his nature and his, humility, who will consult extensively in managing the party going forward.
Sir, about these high-quality advisors, let's not forget that most of these advisors, or at least some of them, have also redeployed to other parties, like the ADC especially, which has been referred to as a party for ex-APC members.
So
they're taking
as
their...
a coalition of confusion, right?
Oh,
That's what and this is what I would like you to speak to. I would like you to speak to what the APC actually regards these parties as specifically. Let's talk about the PDP, who have come out to tell that the ADC is no opposition to them and that they are fair enough. They would compete fairly when it comes to 2027. The APC has also told that the ADC doesn't worry them. But then again, when you look inside of the structure of the ADC, with David Markin there, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, these are strong men.
We're five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how exactly does the APC, if you want to impute what you just said again into your submission, how exactly does the APC view the opposition now? Are they capable? Well, devil's advocate, I'm asking that question, and I know what your answer would be. But then I want you to say it in specific words. Not that I'm agreeing with you, but I just need your word on it.
It's just a tacit agreement. I can understand.
I disagree.
You can't totally agree.
I disagree.
You can't totally agree sitting there. But I understand. Look, the point is, we do not take competition for granted. We don't. Which is why we work hard. Now, if you notice at the next meeting, the president highlighted 3 issues and charged the chairman to, push, forward. He says, look, go build the party a befitting national secretariat, an all-inclusive, one-stop shop secretariat, so that we can modernize the secretariat and be able to, run the party, in a modern way as a 21st century institution. That's one. He says, look, the Progressive Institute that we have created, go wrong with it, make it happen. What is the institute? It's an institute designed to, enable the party and its members to, find that space where we can go think, learn, and share ideas, comparative knowledge about how, a modern political party ought to operate, and to help deepen and, sharpen our
What is a
ideological
modern
lineage.
political party?
A modern political party is a party that is in tune with the realities of today. Now, some of the parties in this
ADC is
country,
not?
ADC is really a party. They call themselves a coalition, not a party. And it's a coalition that has yet to, coalesce. Yes, you have individuals who have, come into that system, but it's not a party. It's not, where in my local government there's no ADC anywhere in the unit, in the world, in the LGA, in the state. Maybe they're going to work to build it. But as of today, it is not a party in that sense.
We're bringing the structure. We're bringing structure conversation into this again.
We are, and it's important because a party is about, structure. People in the village, anywhere in this country, should be able to, plug in. Where there's no system to plug in, then that party doesn't really exist. Yes, the party exists in the air, in the airwaves. The ADC, exists. But the fact that some individuals who have, name recognition, are there, does not make it a party. And, for us in the APC, we're not concerned. We're not concerned about what they're doing. We're concerned about competition, democratic competition, ahead of the election and at the election. But we're not concerned about that entity called the ADC today, because we're too busy, quite frankly, building our party and getting ready
and what about
for the
PDP?
future. The PDP is there, but the PDP is, an ancient party that is really struggling to, keep its head above water.
ADC is a coalition, PDP is ancient, and the Labour Party is what?
The Labour Party, well, the Labour Party is laboring to,
I wish we could continue. Well, we're pretty much out of time. We overshoot the time. I must say thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and just honoring our invitation to come into the studio and have this discussion. It was quite insightful. We look to see what Dr. Yilwatda would do for the APC, and also as we gear up towards 2027, there's a lot that's on the table, and so we will love to have you back here in the studio. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'll get my hand
Felix
check later.
Morka.